welcome back to For the Fans. I am Kevin and I'm here with Sheldon
Hello.
as we go back over Big Brother Canada 11 with the first veto and eviction. Sheldon, how you doing tonight?
You know what? I actually did not end up watching the show last night. I just watched it right now before we got on.
Mhm.
Um, it was a great week. It was a great week. I've loved it. I was a little weary going into this season, and mostly because I thought we were watching BB, the Love Island edition, and
We
I
are.
still think we are. But there's complexity in love in the Big Brother house, and I'm quite interested in what's about to happen. Um, little girls versus guys, little hope and
Showmances.
bromances. There's what's a female showmance or a female broma? A fomance? What is it?
Uh, uh,
Fromance?
girlfriend mance,
No,
girlfriends. I don't know.
it needs to sound better.
Girl,
Girlmance?
girlmance. No, I don't think. I
What?
think two girls just like girlfriends.
I'm gonna ask ChatGPT what is a bromance for girls,
Okay, yeah.
and
Tell me what it
uh,
says live on the
so
air.
it's telling me a womance,
A
uh,
womance.
a cismance. I like that.
Okay,
A,
cismance.
a gal pal,
So a cismance.
cismance. I like it.
It. I don't know how I feel about this season, and it's
Well,
only a weekend. Um, the reason I don't know is because the things that happened in here in this episode, I don't, or these two episodes, I don't love that they happened for the reasons they did, if you will.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and that's why I'm like, I'm not sure. I hope these they smarten up. As Boston Rob would say, they smarten up. But let's get into it, man. We're gonna go in broad strokes.
Yeah.
I don't have like a breakdown, like an episode by episode, like a episode breakdown. But I do know that in the first episode, the veto episode, we come back in right after the nominations. 2 nights ago, me and you discussed how this was dumb for her to put up Anika right after she just told Anika she was safe. But I'm so glad that Santina had the foresight to at least give Anika a heads up that she needed to use her as a pawn.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. No, 100%. It was the right move. I don't. I guess I'm a little disappointed in Santina.
Yeah.
Is sort of my feeling overall, because it was clear in the episode before that she realized, or at least had some sense, that the guys were kind of playing her. I should say specifically that Zach was
Yeah.
kind of trying to have his not have his way. I don't mean it that way, but Zach was obviously trying to manipulate her and get her to do what she wants, and whether she is completely aware of that or not, I am uncertain. I kind of feel bad for her if she isn't aware. I kind of am confused by her if she is aware and maybe just thinks that she could hide behind them.
Yeah, I think she like became aware as the week went on, but at that point, the ketchup was out the jar.
Look, yeah, I don't know. I guess the question is, could she ever work with JM again? And
But we're gonna get to that part because one of the things that I wanted to talk about was that Anika's up on the block next to Dan and Renee, and um, immediately Renee, starts pitching and campaigning, which she should do, and she pitches to Zach. And there was a couple things here I did not like, and there was a couple things I did like. I like that Renee pitched to Zach that she wanted to like be a player in this game, and she hadn't won anything, but she's here to play. I did not like that Zach found that any kind of gusto or any kind of hushpa by her to like try to
welcome to the tribe.
to try to save her own life. It meant that she was going to be like a problem to him, and maybe we should vote her out instead. I don't know what game Zach thinks these people are playing. Are they just supposed to bow to him and just do what he wants? I'm not sure, but I did not like the fact that he immediately wanted to flip it on Renee because she's trying to campaign for herself. She didn't, and she said to Zach, "I want to work with you, man." And he's like, "I don't think so because she has a brain."
Well, like, look, Zach's form is he's a windshield wiper. Anything that he thinks is going to hurt him, he just wipes away. Right? But that rain isn't that painful if you're in park. The rain won't hurt you. You don't need it. You don't need to swipe it away. And sometimes, like, that is a really, I don't know, it's a really poor life strategy, to be honest.
Yeah.
For somebody that's a life coach, or supposedly, or a business coach, that just swatting people away is very, very confusing. You want to figure out how to create win-win relationships. You want to figure out how to leverage good for everybody. You're not at the end of the game by any means. Hell, you hardly started. So I just fundamentally don't understand it. And I don't know, maybe in his life everybody just listens to him. It might just be in his own head that people are all on the Zach train in his own life. It might be true that he is, but I don't know. Somebody needs to slap him, not actually Will Smith, but somebody needs to like go and like shake him a bit and wake him the hell up and to have some, honestly, actually have some self-respect.
Well, I mean, because you get to him talking to Ty about it.
Yeah.
And then he talks to Roberto, and Roberto's like, "Bro, I don't think that's a good idea." And then now he's like, "You know what? We got to go after Roberto." And it's like, how do you oscillate from like one thing to another so quickly just because they don't agree with you?
Well, listen, Kevin, you're in sales. Okay. When a customer is on the phone with you, in person with you, and they tell you and they give you a reason why they shouldn't buy, do you slap them and move away to the next customer? Or do you try to fix what their concern is? Do you try to figure out how to solve what's going on there so that you could actually continue and work so that there's value for both of you?
You have to overcome the objections. That's the move. And especially if you're are already in a working relationship, which Zach and Roberto are.
Yeah.
The move of saying, you know what, instead of, like you said, customer buying and them saying no, my move is not to slap them away. My move is to try to overcome the objections. Yes. And if not, I might try to circle back around later.
Yes.
And if that still doesn't work, then we can see what else we can work on here. Obviously, we're not going to come to an agreement on this thing. Yeah. Let's work on something else a little bit later.
Yeah. We could shit on him for a long time, but
yeah, we're going to.
His time, well, I don't think we are going to be shitting on him for a long time because I don't think his time is
long.
I think that his personality and his just vibrant ability to just be out there and tell people exactly what's on his mind without really realizing it, it's going to turn more of the guys off than just Roberto, than just Rob. So it's going to kick him in the rear end. And I actually think Rob's in a fantastic place because of it. He's not the target.
It doesn't, and I agree with you. And even Ty hears this and is like, I don't know, because we see Zach come back and tell Ty, man, I'm not going to be able to work with this dude for long. We're going to have to get rid of him. And Ty's like, I don't know about that. Like, Rob seems fine, but if he's not on board, what's up?
There's also this sort of like some JM said one thing, and there you go, Zach's done. The second Renee said one thing, we moved it. So like he's so volatile. It's hard to work with that. Like, and not only is he volatile, if there are those objections, he doesn't want to listen to feedback. He doesn't want to listen to rationality. It's his way or no way.
Right.
I don't know.
And this is a good way to go home early because you're not really flexible. And like, there's a couple of things that Zach did that I like really, really was frustrated with. He had this conversation with Renee, and Renee's telling him all these things about she wants to work with them. Zach decides that she's a problem because she has a brain, right? And she's smart. He goes to Santina and says, I was talking to, then he talks to Ty, and he tells Ty his trepidation.
Yeah.
After that, he goes to Santina and says, Ty was telling me he's real concerned about Renee. And I'm like, what do you mean? And sure, you may want to like try to make it as someone else's idea, but this is supposed to be your boy, and you're trying to change the plan after you're the one that made Santina do this situation to begin with, literally days before of putting up Anika.
But why does he even need to make it Ty's idea? All he had to do is go to Santina and say, "Hey, listen, I just like if you're," and he says again that night at some point in that episode, "You're my number one. You're my number one." And Santina tells him he's her number one. If you're really number ones, then there would be nothing wrong with him going to Santina and saying, "Santina, I just had this really strange conversation with Renee. What do you think?" And then explaining it. And if you wanted her to go down that path, bring her down that path. We've obviously seen that he has the ability to manipulate her. Like he knows he could do that. Yeah. Right? So now it's not about manipulating her. It's about leading her the way you need her to go without lying. All that's going to do is cause him trouble because maybe he won't get caught on this lie, maybe he won't get caught on the next, but there's going to be enough lies. There are going to be enough lies that something is going to hit his rear end very fast.
I completely agree. In addition, we get a budding showmance in this episode that continues into the next, and it's a lot between Ty and Claudia. The thing that's interesting about this showmance as compared to last year's showmance, Gino and JC Lynn, there wasn't a lot of game playing by JC Lynn, even though she was a strong game player in her own right, if she chose to be so. But she chose to be like the girlfriend to Gino. Claudia's definitely playing her own game here. And Ty is in his own game as well. It's interesting to see almost the Montagues and the Capulets at war in this Romeo and Juliet type tale.
Huh. Look at you, so smart today, bringing Shakespeare into this. Look at this. Do you like Shakespeare?
You're a professor, though. Talk to me.
I don't know much about Shakespeare. I don't
I know you know this, though.
So here's the thing. I completely agree with you. I don't know if we've ever seen anything like this before. A showmance or a soon-to-be showmance that isn't aligned 100% with each other. But there is some brilliance in this, because
before you continue, not just not aligned, low key the leaders of the warring factions.
Yes. Well, the other thing I like, particularly in tonight's episode, in last night's episode, I should say, the eviction episode, I kind of felt for him, because in his eyes there is I might be putting this into my brain and it's fake, but I saw he really likes her. He also can't trust her. He also can't figure out what to do with those completely opposing views in his head, to the point that the second after he kisses her, he continues walking around anxiously, because I think he's still unsure if he was supposed to kiss her or not, because he's scared that she's playing him. Or I think it's such a crazy situation.
I think it's mutual. I think I see her. I think she really likes Ty. Yes. I think that she knows that she can't trust him.
It's not.
She doesn't know what to do with herself.
But isn't this the point where, look, at some point, I don't know. It's really, trust is the most important thing in this game. It's also the hardest thing to figure out in this game, right? Like if you have trust, you could do anything with anybody. But at some point, wouldn't the smart move for the two of them be, okay, this showmancy thing that we're doing, I think we should continue it. I think we should keep it low key. But I also think we need to be really clear with our alliances that I'm willing to vote the other one out. That way, the two of us run this game from both freaking sides. Isn't that the move?
No, and the only reason it's not is because they're diametrically opposed, right? That the
But they're not
girls,
diametrically opposed to getting each other out. Like
correct.
that's like as long as the two of them are there at the end or closer to the end, like they both have to be okay. She has to be okay that the girls go. He needs to be okay that the guys go.
And I don't think either are okay with their teams going.
Well, that's
I mean,
sad.
and what's crazy and great is that we see it in this episode when when we have Zach over here talking about getting rid of Renee. Ty comes back and says, "My girlfriend just told me that her best friend is Renee. Maybe we need to cut her." Like, and it's like, what? She said that she's real close to Renee, and your first comment is, "We need to take out my girlfriend's lieutenant." Like, that is.
Yeah, but look, yeah, I get what you're saying. However, it's kind of brilliant if they both do that together. Like, if she could tell him, listen, you want to get rid of Renee? Get rid of Renee. Just don't touch me. And he could say, you want to get rid of Rob? Or is that get rid of Rob? Just don't touch me. Like if they could get there, and maybe really look, they're 11 days in, so maybe they will get there. Maybe that's something that
I
will
don't think
happen.
they ever will, and the reason is the only reason they won't is because they can't trust that the other one's actually okay. That Claudia's actually okay with getting rid of Renee. That Ty is actually okay with getting rid of Zach. Like I hear you. You know what I'm saying? They're them. You said they're like, I hear you, but at the same time, are you going to be? What's going to be the response?
So let's say that's so. Let's say what you're saying is true. The one thing we can be certain of is they will continue to influence each other's side to leave the other one out.
Yeah.
Right. So that is still a win-win for both of them.
Yeah.
The difficulty will be is at some point the girls are going to say we need to separate Claudia from Ty, and the guys are going to say the exact same thing, right? So that's the only difficulty, and that's going to be really difficult to juggle. Would you get into a showmance in the BB house?
Complicated, probably not.
Yeah,
but if there's someone that I wouldn't get into this this Romeo and Juliet type show, man. This is very hard. This is impossible. And the reason that's important to say is because if I feel like I can't trust her, then a showmance is not something that we can do, because I need to be able to feel like that I'm going to trust the person that's my partner, if you will. Yeah. And if I feel like I can't do that, especially if we're in warring factions. In addition, if I think we're going against each other soon.
But are they? Like, I don't know. Like, part of me wonders if this, and I think the big variable here is Zach to some extent. Like, is Zach so volatile and so it's going to be so abrasive to everybody in the house that as soon as Zach leaves, maybe the guys realize they don't have much in common. Like I want, and then the showmances could flourish and be like I kind of wonder if Zach is so important in some strange ways to keeping that guys and Santina side close and together that as soon as he's gone, and he will be gone, as soon as he's gone, they fall apart. I don't know. I'm not sure. I will say that, you said that you were unhappy with a lot of things that happened in this week. I'm kind of similar to you, except I think, and I love that you called it the Romeo and Juliet thing. Like, I love that because it's exactly what it is. I think that this might be one of the most interesting things we've seen on Big Brother in a long time.
U.S. or Canada.
Yes.
Because I can't think in U.S. either where there was people so entrenched in opposing factions and yet falling for each other. Because Claudia is no dummy, and she's like, the boys are dangerous, including Ty. And Ty's like, the girls are starting something, and Claudia's in the thick of it. And they know it, yet they want to spend time together. And you see Claudia saying, what's wrong? Did I do something? And he's like, I don't know. Did you do something? And she's like, I don't know. what's going on. And I loved when he asked her, I'm hearing there's talk of a girls' alliance. What's that? She's like, nothing. Is there a guys' alliance? And he's like, no.
The girls are doing the same thing the guys are doing. Aligning.
Coming together. And it's so great. And like you said, it's not seen in the show. One thing I do want to highlight.
Yeah.
There's a time when Ty is very upset. And he says to Claudia, he's sitting out there, and he's like, you're wearing Rob's sweater. And she's like,
yeah, it's cold.
And he's like, how's that going to look, though, where my girl's wearing some other dude's sweater? Like, what kind of situation is that? Something that they didn't show, but was shown in the daily double doses, the daily doses, is that the daily double doses.
What the heck is that?
I don't know. But when they're doing it in the daily doses, Zach has a conversation with Ty about Claudia wearing Rob's sweater and says, can you believe Rob's doing this? Can you believe Rob is trying to come in on something that's already going on between you and Claudia are obviously vibing. And now he's over here. What's he trying to do to you, Ty? Ty says he's trying to cuckold me. And then Zach's like, legitimately. And Zach's like, I think so. I think he's trying to sun you. He's trying to embarrass you. And it's a shame because I don't know what Zach is really doing. I don't know why he's trying to turn, like we just talked about. Rob's on the outs as far as he's concerned after one conversation about Renee.
Yep.
He's decided to turn Ty against Robert, which is why Ty's upset when he's sitting outside and he's like, you gonna let this dude just you gonna wear that dude's jacket? Like, supposed to be my girl. What's going on here? And I'm like, what? How did we get this man to this point?
Well, first of all, it says a little bit about Ty.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that he is. First of all, they're not in a relationship. At that point they hadn't kissed. They haven't
even been announced for 2 weeks yet.
Like, come on. The closest thing they've done was she touched his leg hair.
Okay? And he touched her, and he touched her jean leg. Yeah.
Okay. So this is like we're in grade 12, we're in grade 10 or something. Like this, nothing has happened yet. Okay. So it says something a little bit about Ty and maybe some insecurity. I don't know, maybe stuff from his past. But it sort of makes me think, is Zach crazy or is he genius? I think he's just crazy. Yeah. And doesn't fully understand the game, doesn't fully understand what he's actually doing. But look, like he created Santina and JM chaos. He's starting to create.
But okay, no, the reason this is dumb, and I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing here. The reason this is dumb is because there's still 15 people left in this house.
I wouldn't do it.
When you get down to like 8, if you want to create a little chaos, a little friction from things you've heard over the weeks, only
if you're starting to be in a bad position. Correct. Like
Correct.
That's the only time you create chaos, when you need to create chaos. Like yes. If evidently you've got an army of boys behind you and a Santina. Take your army and move the hell on and shut your mouth and work with them.
Correct.
I don't get it. So yeah, I do think it's dumb, but I don't know. Is he Kevin Jacobs without the brain?
Kevin did these things covertly and then really came into the forefront towards the end, which is when you can do it because the numbers are smaller.
Yeah.
At 15, and that's my biggest problem. Is that what's to make these moves?
Yeah.
Whatever. But at 15, no one's gone even home yet, and you're over here just causing problems.
I'm always at home.
I don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't get it either. I also, this is going to sound very evil and not nice. I really don't want to see Zach on my TV screen. And I find him every person in the world. I find him the type of person in the world I do not want in my social circle. Right. Like, I don't like nothing about him to me. Like it all, whether I don't want it. Like, I don't want to see him on TV. I don't want to see any more of his chauvinism. And I kind of even feel bad calling him that. I feel, it was so clear to me when I saw it yesterday, I don't want to see him on TV anymore. I don't know.
That's quick. I don't disagree, but it's quick to have already reached there, because
and look, this is the guy that didn't reach there with the Paloma shit very quickly. That didn't reach there with all the Daniels, right? Like, it took me a while, and maybe I'm more woke. I don't know.
No, I think you're more protective of Canada.
I think I just don't like. I think it's that I don't like guys like that. Like, there's something about a lack of respect. It's probably like this deep, not just lack of respect for another person, but it's, I am the best. I am the smartest. I am the most successful. It's that narcissism that I don't
like.
narcissism,
yeah. The narcissism.
Partially why I don't like Trump. Okay, moving on.
That's fair. That's fair. The narcissism. You don't like narcissistic people, and that's kind of how Zach comes off. Like, and he's the only one that comes off that way, right?
Yes.
As so far, at least.
Like, Ty humble.
That's what I was gonna say. Even Ty's the leader of this group. Humble. Rob's the leader of this group. Neither one of them are coming off in that manner. But like the way he talks to Santina, the way the way he talks, especially the way he talks to Santina, like, it's extremely disrespectful. And we see Rob talks to Santina, and Santina has a crush on Rob. That's something we need to get into that, because we go and we see Shania talking about wanting to talk to Rob. Then we cut to Rob in the HOH room getting a facial from Santina, and Shania goes and sits down and is in tears, and she's being consoled by Claudia and Renee, her girls, and she's in tears because she says she doesn't want to be anyone's second choice. And obviously, Rob has chosen Santina, I guess, in her mind.
Well, I think that's the key word, because, like, I don't know. I don't see live feed. I don't actually know what's going on.
We don't have any live feeds.
I don't know. Maybe Rob's into Daniel. I don't know actually what's going on. But it's not like it wasn't. It didn't feel flirtatious to me, actually. It felt to me like he was getting a facial from a friend. It probably something he's never done before.
And she does have a crush. She does have a crush.
And she's also the HOH. So I'm sorry. I'm going to that HOH room and doing whatever the hell I want with her.
Or whatever she wants to do.
Whatever she wants to do. Yeah, it's not what I want with her. If she wants to give me nails done, give me a mani-pedi, I'll do it on wax. Maybe not wax. But you can do whatever you want.
Especially pre-Veto.
Yes.
Especially pre-Veto. Because she can easily put me up, because the HOH doesn't even compete, so there's a high likelihood that somebody that's on the block can win the veto, or the veto will be used. Yeah. So if she wants to take my nails, if she wants to curl my hair, if she wants to give me a facial, if she wants me just to like cuddle her, sure. I'm not doing nothing. Listen, Shania, we'll be able to talk and connect a little bit later. No, you're not second choice, baby. I'm just trying to get this done, and she's not interested in Ty, because otherwise Ty and Claudia would have to take a week before it gets going.
Kevin, was there any evidence that he has any like emotional connection, sexual chemistry with any of them?
He doesn't seem. He has that. We haven't seen that he has any romantic attraction to either. No.
He seems very reserved, actually.
Yes. And just here to having a good time. I think he can tell that Santina has a crush on him. But like you just said, like we just talked about, she's the HOH. And it's not like he went in for a kiss or anything.
Oh.
He's laughing. He's joking with her. He's flirting, but he seems to be a natural flirt.
Yeah.
And that's literally it. So for Shania to like have such a guttural reaction, and I get it, like she likes this dude, she has a crush, and she feels, and I mean the woman's gorgeous. I'm sure she doesn't feel like she doesn't get the pick of the litter most of the time.
I'm sorry, Shanea's good looking. Like
That's what I said. I'm sure that there's not a lot of times when she doesn't get the pick of the litter. So
look, I guess I get. Look, I guess this is what we don't necessarily understand being in a house for 10 days or however much at that point. He's the only thing that she could probably look at for the last 10 days, and so like they're probably together so much of the time, and everywhere she goes, there he is.
I think you're right though. Like, okay, there's 8 guys in the house, right? Oh, I can't remember. Okay, there's 8 guys in the house.
Yeah.
Daniel and JM are automatically out, so we're down to 6. Jonathan is out because he's married, so we're down to 5. Yep. Zach is a douche and he's in a relationship. That's down to 4. Yep. Hope is in a relationship, down to 3. Ty is talking to your girl Claudia, down to 2. So it's either Dan or Robert.
And honestly, between the two, I'd pick Dan. I'd pick Robert too. so there you go.
Man, oh man, I think it's funny because they put so many there's so many attractive people in the house and people that were seemingly single, but now you find out that Hope is in a relationship and that Zach is in a committed relationship. It's like, oh, those numbers, all these single women and not a lot of guys to choose from.
Is that a strategy to get past? Be in a relationship?
No, I think it's the opposite.
Be single?
Be single, yeah. It's definitely a strategy to get cast.
Yeah. I also, yeah. We also have, what's his name? Jonathan from the East Coast, from Newfoundland?
Yeah.
That's his name? We haven't seen much of him.
Nope. He's been pretty quiet. Unlike, one of the cool things about Big Brother versus Survivor is that with Big Brother, if they're quiet, it just means they haven't done anything to be on camera yet.
Yeah.
I mean, even Daniel Clark, right? We get a little bit more of him when he starts talking a little bit of strategy, but still not too much. He's hanging out. And you mainly get him talking strategy when he talks to Hope and when he talks to Dan when he campaigns after the veto's used.
And look, I must say, I kind of like this Daniel Hope relationship.
Yeah.
Because there is a very nice balance between the two of them of physical strength, mental strength, strategic ability, like they might be the secret showmance, bromance, whatever the hell.
Well, showmance that you need. Yeah.
Like they might be the two that could actually, they might be the Kevin and Helena, right? I don't see yet with Hope that he has the deep strategic prowess, but I'm not counting Hope out more than Daniel at this point.
Well, I'm not, because Hope is one of the ones that's looking back and was seeing that the girls were talking. But let's get there. Before we get there, I want to talk about this. We have a veto competition. I don't love the fact that we did not see the veto players being picked on the show, that it was just done online. I hope that they don't continue with that, because I really enjoyed the giant wheel table, and so I'm really intrigued on how they pick veto players.
Table's gone. There's no table there. It's gone.
I know. I enjoyed that from last season, so I'm intrigued on how they pick veto players this season. I'm intrigued. But we have playing for veto the 3 nominees in Renee, Dan, and Anika. Anika tells us that she got house guest choice, and so she chose Ty. And then we see that Daniel Clark is also playing in the veto competition, because as we said, here in Canada, only 5 players play, as opposed to 6, because the HOH does not play. From the jump, we know that Ty is playing for Anika.
Can you explain this to me?
No, I was going to ask you to do the same.
I can't. I don't get it. Outside of the fact that she picked him, and I'm not sure why. Like, I don't get it.
Well, she's supposed to be safe, right? I'm sure Zach told her to pick Ty. Because the plan is to backdoor JM. Yeah. And so since the plan is to backdoor JM, it makes the most sense for Ty, who's the most physical and leader of the group, to be chosen as champion to compete.
But why not just let Dan win And
so I wanted to get into this. During the competition, it's only a 2-man race between Dan and Ty.
Yeah.
Anika's
as an
rudderless.
aside, I loved this new twist on a classic Big Brother competition. Instead of them running back and forth in that jelly and falling on their rear ends, like I love that it's basically the same competition, just a little different. I love
Yeah,
that.
you're sliding, so cool. Propelling yourself, getting the things, put it in there. I love that too. At the end of the day, we see that Ty is going up against Dan for the veto. Ty is intent on winning. Like, this is so important to him.
I don't get
Dan is trying to fight for his life. Like you said, why is it so important for you to win this thing when you're going to be fine? And what you guys want, your plan to leave Renee up there and to put up JM is still in place if Dan comes off the block. Why do you need to beat him?
Is this a simple, like, we saw this in his lack of confidence with Claudia. Is this just he's uncertain of himself? He doesn't believe in himself. He doesn't believe in his relationships. He doesn't believe in his alliances. Like, is that what it is? Because outside of that, if I were him, I would not want to win anything anytime soon.
Yeah, I think he doesn't believe in his alliance. I don't think it's not a belief in himself. I think he believes in himself, which is why he's intent on taking care of it himself.
Well, that's really crappy. He can't believe his girlfriend. He can't believe his alliance. The Capulets are about to implode.
Well, the Montagues aren't too far off either, because after Ty wins, he takes down Anika. She's very grateful to the guys.
Yeah.
For keeping her safe.
Absolutely, she is.
And so she's not really on. She's telling them that she goes and has a conversation with Ty, who's been acting cagey for like a whole day. Because Claudia talked to Ty, and he's like, I got this thing weighing on me. I don't want to talk about it. It's like, this is ridiculous. You see Anika come and talk to him, and Anika's like, hey, I picked you to play in the veto because you told me that you would keep me safe if you did. Just checking in. Is that what we're still doing? And then Ty says, do you trust me? Which is ridiculous, and a ridiculous answer to a pretty straightforward question.
Yeah, but I will also say that this is now the second time where we see how not suave Anika is. Like, when she asks a question, it feels very like it's a lot. She's extremely intense. It's a lot. I don't know. I would be scared to play with Anika.
I would be scared to play with Anika as well, but Anika's very loyal. You can already tell.
But to whom?
To whoever she's working with.
Well, I guess we just don't have enough information. I don't actually fully understand what's going on with the girls at all, just because we've seen so much of the boys this week.
Everything was seen from the guys' perspective this week, yeah.
But like, I maybe I'm wrong, but the only person I saw Anika sitting and talking properly with has been Kuzi. So maybe that's the number one. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I think it is Kuzi. Kuzi is trying to do a thing with the girls. I don't know why a girls' alliance is such a taboo word when we have there was a Pretty Boys alliance. They name checked it today. Like there's yesterday they name checked it. So why are we afraid of the girls getting, like, why is it a stigma if the girls get together, but if the guys are already together, it's commonplace?
Well, I guess maybe there's the second layer here of it's not just the girls, it's the girls and the gays. So from a numbers perspective, that might sound scary, but I like, look, this is Big Brother, okay? So competitions matter in this game, whether we like them or not. It really does. Mm-hmm. And truth be told, the likelihood of the guys winning a competition is probably a little higher right now than the girls winning the competitions. That's my first point. Point number two, if you are really playing a game, you always need to realize that there needs to be sacrificial lambs in your own alliance. You are not going to, if you have, this isn't the cookout where there were never, like, this is, like, that won't happen again. There are going to be people that sadly don't make it. You have to be the smart player to make sure you're the one
not
that
you. Yeah, it's not you. And that is so important. It's so important because people are going to go home. That's just how this game goes. As long as you're not the person going home, you're in a good position. You're in a good spot. You got to take advantage of that. The Counter Alliance also possibly gained a new member. We see with Santina talking to the girls.
I'm
not sure. I'm not sure.
I don't know because, well, if that's true, then JM wouldn't have gone home.
I don't know if that's true.
Are you suggesting that at this point, because she backdoored him, she had no choice?
No, she doesn't have the numbers. Okay, so
we did the math yesterday.
Veto gets used. Hold on.
She would have had the numbers.
Veto gets used. She puts up JM.
Yep.
Shortly before, we saw her have a conversation with John Michael, and she tells him he's safe again.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. That's how you lose a jury. Like,
well, he's not going on the jury, so I guess she doesn't care. But that's how you sour a relationship in real life.
Yeah, but isn't that also fine? I agree with you. She soured a relationship. He's not going to the jury. As far as she knows, we've had twists in Big Brother where that's not always the case. So I would be extra careful either way. But the fact that she did leave with the fact that JM would be leaving or anybody would be leaving with a sour taste, they're not going to shut up. They're going to tell people what happened. I think whether it's the jury around or not, you got to let people go with a heart.
Right. With some grace.
It's something that I have a very big difficulty in doing in games. I don't know how to do that.
Let them go with grace?
Yeah, I don't know how to.
You let me go in grace when we played our game together?
Yeah, only you.
Well, I also said numbers-wise, there was no way I could stay. So I figured the numbers were not in my favor.
I usually just break hearts and then I cry by myself about it. and then I'm like, why am I crying? You're the one that's safe. But then it's listen, I grew up with Jewish guilt. That's what raised me. The Jewish guilt is so ingrained in me that I just feel guilty about everything.
Well, speaking of guilt, we see Santina looks guilty as hell when she puts up JM, and then subsequently we're gonna get into what happened before, but he goes home. She looks so guilty. This man is openly weeping. This is hurtful to him, and I get why.
Yeah. However, he is not look, this is partially his fault. He came in pretending like he's in week 15. He needed to chill. He created a target on his back. He told the guys. He did. He went to the wrong person.
Okay,
and said,
Sheldon,
I'm going
I agree.
for the guys.
I agree he did say that out loud, but it doesn't sound like he was championing it around that the moment I win HOH, I'm coming for the guys.
No, but he told a guy that I would be going for you. What do you think, Zach is going to shut his mouth and not tell every other freaking guy? Sure. And there's also a little bit of he came in with a tone of, I am a super fan. I have power. I know what I'm doing. I am strong. I respect that in the workplace. In the game of Survivor, I want to be the idiot and be actually the smart one. I find that it's one thing that a person is extremely physical. You can't hide that. I can't hide seeing Ty's muscles. I can't hide seeing Hope's muscles. You can't do anything about that. But you could certainly hide how much of an understanding of the game you have.
Yeah.
And he didn't do that. And I don't know, maybe he wouldn't have gone up if that was the case.
I feel like I said that. I feel like I said that his part of that was part of the reason he went home, but I feel like he said in the cast assessment that he needs to not talk about what he knows.
He needs to chill. He needed to chill.
And but that was one of the reasons why I was very upset with this season so far. Utilizing his super fandom as an excuse to vote him out is stupid. Because there's people that are fans of this game. And if you're just trying to get out people that know how to play the game and want to have a good time, that's dumb. It is.
So, spoiler alert. Are you planning on ever watching Australian Survivor?
No.
Okay. So, not this season that's currently going on. The season before, Sandra Diaz-Twine was on the season.
Yeah, with Nina.
With her daughter, Nina, who's fantastic, but that's a whole other story. Sandra, everybody looked at her as a threat.
As you should.
As they absolutely should. A 2-time winner who gets the game, who's done it before. All the rest of them hadn't lived on a beach before. The rest of them hadn't starved before, etc., etc. What did they, as a team, decide to do? We are going to keep her until we learn everything we can from her. At which point, we are going to cut her.
Correct.
And that's exactly what they did to Sandra. They kept her for round after round after round. Why? Not because they didn't think they could get rid of her, not because they forgot that she was a threat, but because they literally listened. And you saw weeks later in confessionals, they were talking to each other. They were saying, well, Sandra told me this, and I believe it. And they knew they had to get rid of her. And so to me, when I see a super fan, I would do the exact same thing, unless you have Kevin Jacobs in the house. Like I would, and if Kevin Jacobs wasn't in the house, by the way, I wouldn't get rid of him either. I'd say, yo, Jewish brother, come here, let's be friends, right? Like I would keep him and learn, and then get rid of him when it's time. But so I agree with you. Don't get rid of the super fans. If honestly you're getting rid of anybody, get rid of the person who's never seen anything before. Go get rid of Dan. Go get rid of somebody who doesn't give a crap. He's there for his career outside of the house, not for the game in the house.
And not just doesn't give a crap, won't be able to really help you when it comes time to figure things out down the road. Like, that's I don't agree with this at all. And her reasonings, like, I find it hard because I am very attracted to Santina, but I do not like how she A, talks to people, and B, maneuvers through this. When she decides that she's going to put up JM, she's talking to Zach and Ty, and she's like, well, obviously, he's the most dangerous one because he knows this game, so he's got to go. Mm-hmm. Honey, there's 15 people left in this game. Like, he doesn't have to go today, but sure. When she talks to JM, he's having legitimate tears and perplexity and anger. Mm-hmm. And but she doesn't seem to care. No. She tells him she says the words, "It is what it is," which doesn't make sense to me.
Well, look, I'm not going to stand up for her because I agree with you, but there was nothing she could have done in that room to make him even feel better, right? She in her mind, she made a game move. In his mind, she broke his heart and made a stupid game move, right? So, but in her mind, like, she just made a game move. That's it. So, look, it's gonna bite her in the ass. I'm sorry, she's not Tiffany Mitchell. She's not going to be there for a while either. I think she's going out the door very close to Zach, unless this sounds horrible to say, unless she becomes very quiet and hides.
I think she can rally to the girls.
I don't know, but I think she can. But why would they want that? Like,
numbers, purely numbers, purely.
Do
numbers.
They beat her? Like, I guess they do. Well, I guess there's also strength, but I don't know if you're Anika, do you trust her?
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't. She put her up. I don't know.
I would still trust her.
I don't know. Time will tell, but I do find it really interesting. We were talking about how Zach was talking to Santina. Santina did not talk this way as bad to JM, but you do see a little bit of similar personalities. Just she's obviously less abrasive, less in your face, less all of that. But there are some similarities. So maybe she just doesn't see what we see in Zach because I don't know. Maybe that's the people in her life. Maybe that's how people talk to her. I don't know. I don't get it. But good for her.
It's a shame, and I don't love it.
Is it just because she's pretty? Is that the only reason?
Well, that she's being used by Zach. So it's not like there seemed like so much promise.
Listen, I have to say, I said that she was pretty in our cast assessment. I might have changed my mind.
Oh, you don't find her attractive?
No, I do think she's pretty. I think she's attractive. But there's this something in Claudia's eye for me that she's just so lovable. I really think she's cute.
It's because she's small and petite. That's really what it is.
No, I don't. Well, no, I don't think that's what it is. It was really cute when she kissed him. I should say, not he kissed her.
Yeah, she kissed.
But when Claudia kissed Ty, how she had to stand on a stair to reach his lips. It was so cute. But yeah, I'm on the cute scale. I'm going for Claudia. There's something about Santina, and maybe it's probably because I'm more attracted to personality in general. After this week with Santina, I'm just like, I can't be your friend.
Yeah.
I don't know. I will say, though, and you're probably going to segue into this, JM didn't just sit down and die. He did try. He tried to lay out a really interesting case of working with the girls, trying to get numbers together. He didn't just lie down and say, take me out of here. So I have to give JM the props for that.
True. He tried to get the numbers. He tried to get things working. It just didn't work out. Just didn't work out. He definitely tried, though. And that's respectable in and of itself. I thought it was going to work. I was hoping it was going to work.
Yeah, hope.
I just think, and the reason he goes on unanimously is because I think the numbers just was never going to get there. You know?
Well, yeah, that's why it was unanimous. But I don't know. I think the numbers could have gotten there. I think if the girls actually would have gotten Santina, the numbers would have gotten there. So, to me, I think Santina was really in the center of this. I think she wanted him out for whatever reason, and that was just what she wanted. Period. Full stop. Look, it's also really hard to backdoor somebody and then watch him stay in the house. That is a wasted HOH.
Mm-hmm.
That is not a resume move. That is dangerous.
It definitely hurts your stock.
Yeah. She was stuck.
Mm-hmm.
She was stuck. She made her decision earlier on in the week, and then it was done.
So, what's next? JM goes out. We start a new HOH competition. It's a new week. Spoilers.
Do we have spoilers?
It's just that we have HOH winner.
Who?
It is Dan. DJ Dan.
Interesting. Is he going to put up Santina?
I wonder, actually.
I wouldn't be too upset.
I think DJ Dan, I think the boys are going to be safe. We didn't see any of Dan this week, so I don't really know what his plan is at all. And he was on the block.
We don't know anything about John Michael. We don't know anything about Dan at all. I wonder if he has kind of been alone / with John JM. In fact, like I literally just opened Twitter and there's a JM post where he says Dan and I were good friends in the house. He confessed to me that he didn't know about the backdoor plan, but he is actually closest, in my opinion, with Zach, who knew about the backdoor. So I wonder if like maybe Zach is smart as heck and has everybody, including Dan, in his back pocket. I don't know.
Maybe.
If that's the case, I will be very sad. He's going to have to become likable sometime, I hope.
Yeah.
And I will just say just one thing on JM. It is a big shame that he is gone. Yeah. It is not just because he's a super fan. I love watching super fans play. But because he was a character, he was going to be fun. He was going to make big moves. And when somebody like that leaves on the first week, it's just a wasted cast member. So it just sucks. But he's back in Bradford living his life.
That's good. He's back on Twitter. It was a lackluster first week. But fun in all in itself. This Dan HOH is going to be real interesting.
It was a lackluster first week, Kevin, but at the same time, like, there was a lot of interesting, like, this Romeo Juliet stuff is really intriguing. They couldn't have written this. Like, it's kind of cool. So, if the best thing we got this week is Romeo and Juliet, maybe it was a great week. Let's pretend.
This Romeo and Juliet stuff is going to be the thing that's going to make this season fun, if you will. It's the thing that we got to watch for.
As long as Romeo and Juliet stay.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they start trusting each other. Like, Romeo and Juliet did actually fall in love. Maybe we need to make sure they do fall
in love. How do we do that? How do we make sure they fall in love?
Vote for Claudia to be safe again.
You can't.
It's over.
Once you get the
what a bad week to get that.
Yeah. Like once you get the Bel Air Direct insurance. I can't believe I still remember that insurance company. Once you get the Bel Air Direct insurance.
You guys have Bel Air Direct in America? Yeah, it's not just an American company.
No, we don't have Bel Air Direct.
It sounds so American of a company too.
No, we don't have Bel Air Direct. But if we did,
is that the company Will Smith uses for his insurance as the Fresh Prince of? Okay, we're done. Bad joke, didn't work. Bad joke.
leave the Fresh Prince alone.
So, Kevin, what do we have to expect next week? Because maybe we'll get a little spice. Maybe. I don't know. I think there's a potential that Zach rules another HOH this week. I think there's a potential that Dan has absolutely no freaking clue what he's doing, and it's going to be the last person in the room that speaks to him that will basically decide his entire game for him. So, or he might pretend to be that guy who had multiple names for multiple seasons, Kyle Moore, and he just is like, yeah, I'm going to play Big Brother the way I think to play Big Brother, but he has no idea. So, you know what? Maybe it's going to be a cray-cray season or a cray-cray week. Who knows?
Who knows, indeed. Sheldon, thank you for jumping on and chatting with me.
Thank you.
Join us back again next week as we talk about Big Brother. We'll talk about who he has put up and the episode's going to be mainly about them doing the competition. So we'll see the competition and who gets put up. Also, join us for Survivor next week. If you haven't heard about Survivor from yesterday, check it out. Me and Sheldon, along with Robbie, got to jump on and chat about it. So definitely do that. Fantastic episode. Listen to that. And let's see if 2 girls go up. Oh, also the twist, the if you come in last twist, the dead last loser twist, it's already over. So
what was that?
I think they were like, yeah, this doesn't really track. We don't like this. Let's get rid of it. And I like that. I like that pivot because they usually just keep things going in Big Brother whether they work or not. So
the thing that I agree with you. It is hard to keep track of 3 nominee stories. Like if you only have an hour or 3 hours.
And Dan wasn't really serviced this time. No. They had to really follow Renee and JM because they're the only ones that were possibly going home. So yeah, Dan's story was short shifted. Now he's HOH and no one knows what's going on with him. So
yep.
All right, thank you guys for joining us. Thanks for watching. Catch me at KG Fury everywhere on social media. You can catch Sheldon right here on your screen.
Love it.
Have a good night, y'all. Goodbye.
Good night.